Hello and welcome back to the next video on static variables. As I told you in my previous video, static variables, even if you declare inside any function but still remains throughout the program. So it is initialized only once in the program and the default value of the static variable is 0. Okay, so let us see how does this work. Okay, I will go to the program. So I have a simple code here. I have a function called fun. Inside this function called fun, I have a variable called num. So I have made this variable as static. So static int num. So static is the keyword. So when you say any variable as static, then that variable occupies the global space even if it is a local variable, and this gets executed only once in the program. Okay, let us try to understand how does this work. Okay, so now when I call the function fun the first time, okay, in that case num becomes 0, initialized to 0. So num is equal to num plus 1, so num becomes 1 and it prints 1. Okay, now let us see whether it prints 1 or not. Just comment this second and third function. Okay, I will compile and execute this program. Okay, so you can see here the output is 1. Okay, so what do you expect when I call this fun function second time? If there was no static here, okay, I will remove the static keyword. Now I will execute the program. What do you expect the output? I would expect as 1 and 1. Okay, exactly, it is 1 and 1. Now if I put static before int, then let us see what is the output. So it prints 1 and 2. Why it is 1 and 2? Why it is not 1 and 1? It's because this statement gets executed only once in the program. So when I call this function the second time or the third time or any number of times, this code will not get executed. Okay, only this, the remaining part gets executed. Okay, so as I told you, if it was a local variable, num would have destroyed as soon as fun ends. Okay, once the function fun ends, the num gets destroyed. But since I made it a static, num will not get destroyed. Okay, now even if I call it third time, okay, let us see what happens. So I would get output as 1, 2 and 3. So that is the advantage of using the static variable. But why developer need a variable called static? The advantage of static variable is that you can hide your variables. Okay, for example, I have a variable called num. I don't want any other function from another file to access this particular variable. Okay, so now if in this case it is inside the function, so no function can access this. But if it was outside the main function, okay, this becomes a global variable. Okay, any function can access it, but since I made it as static, only it is visible in this particular file. No other file can access this particular variable. So when multiple users are working for the same project, okay, it is advantageous to hide the particular variable so that they accidentally don't overwrite or use this particular variable. So that is the advantage of a variable called static. So you will not overwrite on this particular variable. So when you make this as static, this particular variable is visible only in this particular file. Okay, I hope you got my point, the advantage of making the variable as static. So you can also have a static function. For example, I can make this function as static function. So when I make any function as static, that particular function is visible or available only in that particular file. So I cannot call this function from any other file. I hope you got my point. Thank you so much for watching this video.